All right, good afternoon. We're going to open up with a song here. I was thinking about back when I in all the Genos classes, and I was thinking, I don't think I've ever played this song, and I play it all the time over the years. And I thought I never opened up, or I don't even recall playing the song on the Genos. And I was poking around today for some ideas, and I had some fun with this. So you're going to see me pushing some things along the way. It doesn't mean I know what I'm doing. It means I'm going to kind of poke around while I'm doing it. So it may be kind of a long, drawn-out improv/song/improv. And then afterwards, I'll kind of share some of the things I did. And last week I mentioned, kind of recapping on a class that I did about saving presets and things. So I do want to spend some time on that. But let's start off with what I got, all right? This is going to be fun for me at least, so here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
We're having too much fun.
I am having too much fun. I wanted to just kind of see how long I could drag that out. All right, so if you want to use that style, you want to play that song, you don't have to play like that, but you know, those little tricks I always say when they go, they're not hitting anything. Really, sometimes making it do that makes it sound like it's ending on the right note that works. You have to go. Doesn't matter what you do as long as you end up on the right note. So if you're curious what I use there, I used a style here called, let's pull it up on the screen, shall we? Called Hollywood Gospel. And how I got to that was on the R&B button, and it's on page 5. Right there. Actually, what I did, because I didn't know where it was earlier, when I pulled up the screen, I forget what screen I was on. So what I did is I touched the search option there, and I just typed in gospel, and then I clicked OK. And then what happened was I didn't originally select Hollywood Gospel. I just selected one of the Gospels, and then I clicked OK, and then what happened is it brought me to the page, and then I just tried a few of them out. You know, so I found one that I thought, hey, I might have some fun with that. So I went from that one to the Live Soul Band, Southern Gospel, and then I ended up on the Hollywood Gospel. All right. Now the settings, I might have poked around on the panel, you know, a bit, but really, you want to keep it simple. The settings, all I did was use the one-touch settings 1, 2, and 3. So one-touch setting number 1 gave me the piano. 2 gave me that nice gospel kind of Hammond organ-y type sound. Really cool. And then number 3 gave me that electric guitar. So if you're on that style and you're using one-touch settings 1, 2, and 3, you'll get those sounds, okay? But if you want to have a little fun, I'm on one-touch setting number 3 with that Hollywood. You have these little buttons called articulation over here to the left, okay? On this particular setting, if you touch it, it'll kind of give you that guitar sound, that authentic, where it slides down. You gotta have some fun with that. If you have grandkids and it's in the rock music guitars, you can really impress them. Now, the other thing I did was I used my main variation. So before I hit record and I played for you, I started off with the intro 2.
Put your hands together.
That's intro 2. It's pretty cool. And then I tried on number 3, and I thought that was pretty cool too. That's a great intro. So, and then if you're using that style on the multi-pads over here, you have
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's why I wanted to go back and start over. On 2 you have and 3.
Hey! Yeah!
this one sounds familiar.
Hey!
Like when I was growing up, I feel like my mom did that to me a lot. Whenever I did something in the house I wasn't supposed to do.
Hey!
And then she came
So
back.
what
she,
multi-pad is it?
that one, and number 3.
No, the name of the multi-pad.
Oh, what is it called? Okay, so the first one.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There actually, it says Gospel Ad Libs 1 in the screen. All right, so good question. Let me go pull up on the screen so you see this in case you want to find them yourself. Let's see here. Boop. Okay, so what I did is if you look on the screen there, you'll see it says Multipad Gospel Ad Libs. All right, and if you just touch that, it brings you to all of the gospel. And so if you put in number 2, you can have some fun with that. Put in number 2 and then listen to them.
Come on. All right, now. Uh-huh. Woo!
So you could have some fun with that. Oh, let me just see. I haven't seen that.
Ooh, yeah. Stand up on your feet with all your soul. Clap your hands, everybody. Come on.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Put your hands together. Clap. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Boy, I'm glad I didn't see this beforehand. I might have been here another hour trying to get ready for the class.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so you could have some fun with that. Now, in the main variations, I kind of went back and forth a little bit, you know, so main variation A was nice and simple. Now, when I had number 1 one-touch setting on, by the way, I don't have an expression pedal, okay? So a lot of times what I'll do is when I got the piano, I might play it like that. But if I want a little sustain, some people will buy a sustain pedal, which is fine. Okay, but if I put this little sustain button on over there, it kind of does it for me. The little trick with that is if you go to another preset, you just have to remember to turn it off because it'll stay on. And if you go to the next preset, next one-touch setting, I have organ sound on this one, like it's called All Bars Out. It's going to have a sustain, and then they maybe not work well. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. Last week I mentioned, you know, talking about saving settings, and I've done this before. So a lot of times I like to take something like that and experiment. So when I was playing, I'm going to put it on the screen here so you could see this. While I was playing, as I went through the different one-touch settings, all right, one-touch setting 1 gave me piano. You'll see there's a saxophone there. I didn't turn that on, but that's great. And then number 3 looks like a light chorus, it says, and you see a picture of the guitar. So, ooh, beautiful guitar, beautiful guitar. Number 2, one-touch setting. This one is where I started poking around a little bit. So you'll see there, the right one is lit. That means that's the all bars out fast. You'll see it looks like a picture of 2 keyboards, the organ sound. And that's how I got this. Okay? However, you'll see right next to it, it says Jazz Scat Dwee SW. All right? So while I was on that setting, I turned off this one, and then I put on right 2. So now I have whatever sound that voice is programmed there. And then I wanted to dig a little further. I started going down a rabbit hole. I always pick on my fiance. We're watching, we're at home. We got the TV on. You have these, the shows, and then it says related, and then we go, well, what does that one do? And then next thing you know, I've been there 15 minutes. I'm falling asleep. I'm just going down this rabbit hole of shows to see if we want to watch it. And I fall asleep, and then she gets mad because I fell asleep. I said, well, I thought we were watching a show. Anyway, so I go to there. Oh, oops, sorry. I touched the jazz scat. All right. And then I just started touching things that I was curious about. So that's the one that you're seeing. And then I stopped it for a minute. I paused it when I was doing. I went like this. I stopped it. And then I hit that one and I went, hey, 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 hey. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then I went to the next page and I just kind of looked around and poked around. I don't know what this one does. I didn't use it, but now that I saw it. Anyway, so I go and then I went, oh, what's this one do? Let's see. And then this one. I think I touched that one, but that's kind of all I do. Sometimes I just kind of poke around a little bit and see what happens. So sometimes when you have one setting, you just kind of, and then here's the cool thing, just kind of go through them and try it out. And then if you're kind of stuck, goofed it up, if you just press it again, it'll default to the whatever sound that comes up with it. So point of all this is if you poke around and you find things that you like, easiest thing to do is to save your work, save your progress, okay? And if you're using the playlists or some of the built-in presets that the instrument comes equipped with, depending on the package you had, just remember this. If you're loading them in, they're there, so we can always start over, okay? Now, there's a couple ways of doing this. One way is you just put on a rhythm style like we did, and I'll use that, and use a one-touch setting. Find a setup you like the main variation, what have you. Just find something, and just save it into here, okay? And then you can just go through. Now, keep in mind that right now, whatever I have in here, there's 8 setups from something. I'd have to look to see what's there. I can save a setup over on top of that. Sometimes what I like to do is if you have this option, what I like to do, so there's no confusion in my setups. If I find the right screen here, there we go. Okay. So what I did is I pushed the registration minus and plus, and I pull this up. I've got whatever I had on there last. Let me go to the user. And you'll see there's one that says blank registration bank. All right. It's basically a group of presets, registrations that Marco put in that does absolutely nothing. It does what it says, actually, blank registration. So now if I come back to the screen here, you'll notice that none of the buttons are lit. They're all blank. So if I touch it, there's nothing in there. All right? And that's for that very intention, if you want to go this route of saying with presets. Sometimes I'll put in presets from a playlist or one of his for Benny Goodman's, what you saw on the screen, and it'll give me 8 or 10, whatever many setups that's great for that style of music. And then I go off on my own little beaten path here, and I decide I want to start saving my own presets. But what happens, I may save up to 5 with the gospel style, and there might be 3 left over from the Benny Goodman, and they're labeled as such. And so if you go to save them, it might create some self-confusion, okay? And that's okay. You can overwrite that. Or you could just start off with blank. So right now, this isn't doing anything, okay? Now, Having said that, I'm going to go back to the setup that I have. So I'm going to start off with the Hollywood Gospel, one touch setting 1. Okay, I might like that. And I decided intro 3 was my setup. So I've got that. And then I have to decide, does my first setup, do I want it to be with intro 3, main variation B or C? You just pick and choose. Okay, so I'll do it like that. Now, here's something to remember. If you notice, I keep coming over here, pushing the sync start button. A lot of times what I'll do, and I want it to stop, to talk, or whatever, you have 2 things you can do. You can press the start stop button and it stops it. Okay? Problem is if you do that and then you go to play again, it doesn't start back up. So you have to remember to touch the sync start so it does that. It starts in sync with your chord. Okay? The other option you can do if you're doing something like that is this. So I'm going to get it playing. Like I did the sound effect, I did this.
Hey!
And now watch. Okay, so what you can do is very simply, instead of pushing the start stop button while it's playing, push the sync start button, because watch what happens. It lights up and it stops. What's the beauty of that? Well, now if I start to play again, it's going to automatically start playing. And again.
Yeah!
Okay? And it's funny because I've been doing it so long by pushing the start stop button and I've had to push it on. And I went to myself, why have I been doing that all along? This is a lot easier to just do that. Okay, so anyway, just kind of a FYI, because I like to have that sync start button lit when I'm saving a preset with a rhythm. All right, so right now I have main variation A, one touch setting 1 with the Hollywood Gospel. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to choose the sustain yet, and I'm going to put on intro 3. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is save that into number 1. All right? Now, how am I going to do that? Boy, this is a lot of work. You push memory and then 1. However, before you do that, when you push the memory button, if your instrument, if you've fooled around with this, just make sure to take a peek at it before you do the other presets. So I push the memory button, and what you're going to get is a screen that's going to look like this. All right? And you're going to notice the way I have it, I have almost all of them check. Oops, I might even do the multipad. I don't know why I didn't have that checked. So I'm going to check that. Because I do want to save those multipad sounds of the haze and the yow or whatever they're doing. 1, 2, okay. So basically, it's asking you, when you save this setup, before, like I'm going to do it on number 1, what do you want to save? I like the harmony save in case I do that. I like the multipad. I want to save the style. I'm using Hollywood, what was it called again? Hollywood Gospel. I want to save the tempo. I do want to save the voice. The voice is not, again, we've said this many times, people misunderstand when we say voice, they think an actual voice, which there are, but the voice refers to, yeah, the vocal, saxophone, piano, guitar, whatever sound. I like to say the word sound, but their terminology is voice, okay? So yeah, I want to save that piano, all right? Transpose is always a debatable one. I purposely, and I said this last week, but I purposely don't save transpose many times. The reason I do that is because some of the songs that I play, sometimes when I play them, I'll transpose the instrument down 2 half steps. And then I'll play that song that way, and then halfway through I'll transpose it up a half step and so forth. And then maybe a week later I play that same song, and guess what? I may not transpose at all. Okay? So if I save the transpose, every time I put this preset on after I save it, it's going to always default to that. So sometimes I like to not have the transpose saved. That is up to you. So if you have a specific song that you're playing and you like it in a specific key that you're playing in and you really like the way it sounds and you don't want to have to remember what transpose you did, then maybe saving transpose. Just remember that if you default the transpose to a different key and then you go and push that preset again while you're playing it, it's going to also change because that's the way we saved it on that preset, okay? So I'm going to leave it like that. Now when I do that, once I push memory, okay, and that screen pops up that you saw, and you just press the number, I'm going to start with number 1. And then boom, that's it. That setup is now on number 1. Okay? Plain and simple. Now, when I did that, my one touch setting that was originally on went off because now it's defaulted to there. And then what I might do is a little bit of this. I might try it out. Okay, we'll just do it without. And then I might go a little step further and go, you know what, as I'm playing, I might want to have sustain on and main variation B. Okay, and I go, I like that. So here's what I'm going to do. Ready? Sync start, stops it. It's still lit. And I'm just going to save that on number 2. Memory, all the same stuff that you saw on the screen a minute ago is going to come up, but I don't need to check it off anymore unless you decide that maybe the next preset I wanted to save with a transpo keys change or whatever. Again, you can decide that as you go. Number 2, boom. All right, so I play along. Okay, and then let me switch to one such setting 2, and that organ. Oh, I don't like the sustain. Maybe I want main variation C. I like that. Sync start. Memory. I get the thing on the screen where all the check marks. I kind of know what I want at this point. I'm going to go to number 3. And then, I don't know, what did I do? A guitar sound in there somewhere? Let's see. But I want main variation D. Ooh, I like that. Okay, sync start stops it, but it's still lit. I'm going to save that on memory number 4. Remember those voices, those scat vocals? I like those. So I'm going to go back to one touch setting 2, which was the organ. Maybe main variation C. But now I'm going to turn off right 1 and turn on right 2, and I get do beep ba da do beep ba da do beep ba da do beep ba do do beep ba da do. I can say that all day. It's amazing how they take an actual person and they come out of this thing. Think about that. We get a little spoiled by technology. Sometimes you have to just go back in time and remember the way it was, right? I was watching a movie or series recently, and it takes place in the 90s. And I was going, or it was the late 80s and early 90s. And there's a scene where, they're driving down and they have to, get in touch with somebody. And I'm waiting for the cell phone to come out. And they can't because there was no cell phones in that time, right? But anyway, so I got, yeah, okay, I like that. So I'm going to do memory, number 5. And as you go, they're lighting up. That's the beauty of that, too, if you put in the blank registration bank. And then, just for kicks, I'm going to go into the screen and try out a few of the others like we did earlier. Let's see. This is Jazz Cat Vocals SW. The one you heard was Dwee. And that's Shu. Let's see. We'll just go back to this one. And then I'll save that one on number 6. Memory 6. All right. And then, let's see. For ending measures, I might do something like go to the choir in a minute. So what I'm going to do is this. A lot of times, oh, there's some other ones. Who's this? Who are you? Who are you? Oh, pretty cool. Who are you? Do we you be? Do we you be? Okay, I could be here forever. Anyway, let me go back to let me go back to that setting. And what I might want to do for fun is go back to, I found this choir. It says Boys Choir F on that choir section on page 3, and it's, and I don't know if I'll use it, but I liked it. So what I might do is put on my ending 3 and program that memory 7. So when I touch 7, it'll automatically go. So 1 has this, all right? Number 2 just plays with the same sound with the piano with the sustain. 3 with the organ, 4, 5, and 6 with a different sound. And then when I go to 7, it should end. And I put the choir for this. That's why I did it, because I thought maybe at the end, when I'm done, just hold a C chord down, or an F chord. A little fun thing you can do, hold the F chord, F-A-C. All right? There's many ways to do that, but the easy way, if you're a novice, is hold an F chord, F-A-C, and then take your 2 notes on the F and the A and just go down 2 notes at a time while you're holding the top note. So F-A-C, G-C-E, D, F, C, and you can go, or you can go just F, and G-C. So if you're holding F-A-C, and while you're holding it, switch to, keep your C there, E and the G, and then you end up with a C chord. Amen. Or you can hold F-A-C, and then play it F minor, and then a C. So you can have some fun with that. Whoops. Do it again. Take 2. So you can have some fun with that. So that was just kind of some of the basics. Now, here's that part is actually pretty simple, but I wanted to at least kind of share some of the sounds that I thought were pretty cool with that along the way. So, but the trick is, if you want to save this onto your instrument, the beauty of this is you can save it here or to a stick. Okay? You'll notice at the top there, it says registration bank. Blank registration bank. So no matter which one I push, they all say the same thing. So if you want to give some references to yourself, so you don't want to have to try to remember what you did, you can actually go in and rename those settings. Whoops. Okay? Ugh. Registration bank info. Okay, oops, sorry, I should probably show you what I'm doing. So push the to registration bank here, and then you get to this screen here. All right? And it doesn't matter what you see there visually at that time. What matters is in the top right corner, there's a menu button, and you push registration bank. You see info and you see edit. So if you see info, it just shows you what's there right now, okay? If you go and you press registration bank edit, you can go in and edit and rename that category however you want. So you just touch, like I'll touch the first one, and when you touch it, you'll see on the screen it says rename. And just touch rename, and then name it however you want, okay? So I'm going to name it, I'm going to press the delete. I'm going to, I'll keep it simple. Normally I would put just a closer walk with E. You know, I can put closer. And then when you press OK, so that's what it says. Now, before I go any further, let me close that. And let me pull that up, registration bank info. Now look on the screen. Now you'll see there on the screen, it says one, it says closer. You can call it closer walk. And if you look on the screen, it'll tell you the sounds that are actually in use. What some people will do is they may label that left column, they may rename it closer piano, which is okay, but keep in mind, if you only label it the name of the style that you're naming, you see on the right there, it's going to still show the sound that you have. Okay? So you can do that however you want. You know, I may go back and name it something like this. Oops. Closer. Rename. I might put closer. Let's see, where's the symbol? There we go. Where's the dash? There we go. And I might do intro. Okay? And I might do that. Maybe on here, if you want to, you can do this. You can do closer. Oops. Closer. Closer walk, or however you want. If you want to go a step further and add, you know, maybe what sound is there. Hi there.
Hello, I'm an electrician. I'm trying just need to check your panel.
Okay. Piano. Okay. So you can label it however you want that you see fit. Okay.
Oh, we labeled each one. Okay, I can.
You can, but watch this now. You don't have to, but watch this. If you go, that's right, the whole world's going to see you now. Hope you don't want royalties. Make sure we have electric so I can finish doing the class. All right, registrate. Now look, here's how I titled it. So look in the screen there, it says closer. I can go back and rename it walk, intro, piano. But look on the right side there. You see what it says right 1 and 2? So even if I don't label it closer walk, piano, it's showing me the sounds that's saved in that preset. Okay? So the point is, the left column, when you're renaming, you can rename it however you see fit, however you want to. You know, so maybe I might go back and rename, edit, and I'll do the third one. What was the third one? Let's see. Oh, organ. So I might rename that one. Okay. Closer. Walk. Oops. walk. Okay, I can abbreviate too. I didn't do it on purpose, but I'm going to. Or yin. But it's okay because it's going to show up when you pull up that screen. What's the third one? What is this one? Guitar, okay. Rename. I'm going to see if I can go really fast here. Figure if I type it, closer, walk, guitar. That might abbreviate. GTR. And, you know, and so forth. What's that one? Oops. Oh, there we go. Rename. I shouldn't have saved so many presets. But I feel like if I don't do this now, my OCD is not going to let me permit. But that's okay. We learn by repetition. So you see what I'm doing there. So I'm going to call it scat. Okay. And then there's two more. Rename. What does that one do? It's a different scat. Okay. Well, that's all right. You get the point. So you can go in. I'm going to call it scat, for my sake, scat 2. Okay, and then rename closer. Point is you can rename this however you want. Now, after you do this, I'm going to show you closer, space, dash, oops, ending. Okay. Okay. Now, when you're done, if you pull up your presets here, the home screen, look at the top there. It's going to basically tell you what when you get to it. Of course, you're going to know when you get to it because you're going to hear it, what you're doing. All right? So after you save these into the instrument, which we'll show you, you'll see as you're pushing the presets, you see it on the top left corner there? Everything we titled is up there. Okay? And then on the screen, you're seeing what sounds you're getting. However, what you may want to do is push your registration plus and minus together. Okay? Push the two together. And when you do that, you'll get the screen that comes up here. Just go in the top right corner to the menu and put registration bank info. So as you're playing, if you get into the habit of saving your own presets, you can label it however you want on the left. It may not be necessary to get overzealous on how you title it. You may change the arrangement around to where, you know, for example, closer with intro, I might put main A, so I know what main variation. Maybe I say main variation B on number 3, I think. Or maybe I'll put MB, you know, little notations to self. Because on the right side there, look at that. It's going to show you the name of the sound that's there. Character grand, all bars out. Now, if you don't know what that is, then you might have to say to yourself, maybe I should label it organ so I know. Solo ace, I know, is a solo guitar. Jazz scat, Boris. So you could see that there. It shows you what sound is going to come on when you get there. Okay? Now, the next step is getting the sounds from here, because right now they're here. They're not in the instrument, and they're not on a USB yet. I would say the first thing you should do is get them here. You can always go back and copy it or save it onto the USB. I think it's great to have them in both places. In fact, I think it's better to have them in 3 places. Like I have them in multiple places. I have them on the instrument, I have them on a USB, and I have them on my computer. Okay? That way I never lose anything. But if you want to save these into the instrument, here's what you do. So you push the two buttons together, your registration bank plus and minus. All right? And when you do that, you're going to get, going back to the screen here, and you'll see that this particular instrument, I have several things. I have Marco's Famous People, I have Marco's Class Presets, I have the playlist for Genos, I have a holiday camp that we did back in 2024, some style presets and scores, and then there's a folder labeled Robert. Now you can create your own folder, okay? Now before I go any further, if it was me, I would save it in this because I already have it. But if you don't have this yet and you want to create a new folder, here's what you do. You ready? So the first step is I'm going to push File. You see the little button folder up there that says File? You touch that and it says Save. So that's the first step. And it's telling you, where do you want to save it? Do you want to save it on this screen right here? You can. Think of this, if some of you are familiar with the use of a computer, this is no different than if you're using a computer. Okay? If you're not, sometimes I like to say, think about like an office. A lot of people have a home office or their own personal office, right? And in your office, does anybody here have a filing cabinet? Many of us do, right? And if you open up your filing cabinet, what do you have in there? File folders? Well, there you go. So think of this like your office. Okay, the Genos 2 is your office. And when you get into here, here's your filing cabinet. And now you have to decide, what file, where do I want to put this file? Do I need to create a new file folder? Okay, so you might, to have some fun with this, if you're not used to doing this, here's what I would suggest. I would create a new folder, and for the fun of it, label it however you want. Test. Okay? Test. This is your test folder. So you can have some fun with doing this. You can always go back and rename it. Okay? So it's asking me where do I want to save it, and I told it, well, I want to put this setup into a new folder. Okay? So now you'll see it says test. I'm looking on the screen there. You'll see it still says save here. It hasn't done anything yet. So now what I'm going to do is press test. And now I'm going to say I want to save these presets that we just put together here. And now it's going to ask you another question. How do you want to enable this group of presets? Now, I have these setups. I kind of use them for the song Closer Walk, but are also gospel, and they're all using gospel, the gospel Hollywood, right? So here's what I might do with this group of presets. I might label it, in this case for me, I might want to label it, you can always go back and change it. Closer Walk. And then I might do something like Gospel Hollywood. Okay, oops. And I'm going to hit OK. Now when you do that, you'll notice that there they are. Now why would I label that? Not only did I have this for a specific song that we did today, but I also put the style that it's using in all of the presets. Now sometimes I'll use multiple styles for presets, but not always. And here's the beauty of that, because if you decide at some point you want to go back, oops, and you get in the habit of doing this, and you want to go back and load these. Okay, I've got my test folder here. The reason why it's good to know what style, because You may discover, after a while you do this, you may end up having like 10, 15 of these. It'll add up after a while. But if you put the name of the rhythm next to it that you're using, if I wanted to play a song like Amazing Grace or Swing Low Sweet Chariot, I might use the same group of presets. So that's kind of good to use to title the song along with the style. Okay? Now there they are. They're always in there. If you go back and you go into that screen and you decide to do something else, like if I decide to put on my other presets for something else, well, now my new presets that I just loaded in are for something totally different. If I want those presets back, I just hit the 2, go back to that folder, in the test folder in this case, and the minute I touch it, press number 1, and there you go. Great intro.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
Okay. I've seen it.
how was that? Is that okay? I did something similar to this, but it's great to take some of the old classics that you might be playing, just find a new, different style, and experiment a little bit. It's okay to push the buttons. We say it over and over. Just remember, you have enough stuff in there that if you goof it up, you can always load back presets. But if you get in the habit, I would start by putting a little test folder. And over time, you may call it something else. You may go, it's not a test anymore. These are great setups that I came up with. Okay? Here's the other cool thing. If you start saving presets, even if you don't put the blank ones in first, the minute you go to another group of presets, whether it's a playlist or something that's in the registration banks here, if you go to load another one in, it's going to complain if you saved some. So for example, what I'm going to do is take this preset and resave it. All right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick another group of presets. Okay? Let me go to famous people. And let's see what happens when I touch 101 strings. You see what it did? It's complaining. It's a good complaint. It says the current registration band has been changed. Do you want to save them before you go any further? Okay? The system has kind of a fail-safe, if you will, that if you the minute you save at least one setup, doesn't matter what it is, if just one preset, even if it's the same thing, the minute something changes here that you saved, okay, and you start to load something else before you save these group of presets, it's going to basically say, hey, you made some changes here. Do you want to save it? And then you have the chance of canceling while you're ahead, or don't save and let it load, or save and then make sure you just save it. Okay? So if you've seen that message before, because I know I've had some people tell me, I've did something, I get this message. All that means is that you saved something into here, whether it was intentional or not intentional. Sometimes it's unintentional. I've saved something because I was showing somebody how to do it, or I accidentally hit memorize in a number. And then I go to load something else in there, and then it does it. Okay? Until next time, stay safe, keep playing music every day, and be kind to one another always, please. Okay? Mwah. And especially to Don and me. See you real soon. Now I just got to find my cursor here. Where's my, oh, I got to put my finger on the mouse. There you go.